Good day. Today we're going to dive deeper into mask effects. In this instance, we'll be talking about clipping masks, very similar to layer masks, where layer masks allows you to paint in the area in which you're going to see through that layer. A clipping mask allows you to cut away from an object based on some other element, whether it be a brushstroke, a shape, or type or text. We're also going to talk about adjustment layers, which will allow us to apply special effects, if you will, to a multitude of layers or a single layer. And let's get into it. All right, so clipping mask. Clipping mask is quite simple. There's not really a lot to it. Basically, you're going to select the layer in which you want to apply the clipping mask to. You're going to right-click and then select Create Clipping Mask. Now, what this is going to do, it's going to allow you to cut away from the object based on what is below that layer. So if I'm looking at my layers here, you'll see that I have a pink circle, and I'm going to use this pink circle to cut away or trim away parts of this image. So again, right-click on Beach Dog, click on Create Clipping Mask, and you'll see with the Move tool selected, which it automatically goes to, shortcut V, now I've placed the Beach Dog layer inside of that pink circle. So it doesn't matter what the color of the circle is or the type of shape, it will use that shape to cut away parts of that image. So let's try this with the colorful beach house layer. So here's the colorful beach house layer. I will say this, make sure that you have this near what you're wanting to use to cut away. Otherwise, it's going to be quite difficult. So at the very least, have it touching somewhere so that way you can see through that object. So again, right-click, Create Clipping Mask. And there's our object. Now, obviously, you can see that this is a little too small, so we need to make this a little bit larger, just like with the Chris Pratt and Monkey image. We'll use the Free Transform tool, so Control-T for the Free Transform tool. And now we can stretch and make this bigger to fit inside of that area. Hit Enter or the check mark to accept. And there we go. Now, if you come down here and look at the beach scene sun layer, you'll see that we're wanting to place this image inside the text, but you'll notice that, well, if you remember the order of operations here, or at least the stacking order that needs to take place, the beach sun has to be placed on top. Otherwise, there's nowhere for it to go. If I hit Create Clipping Mask, you'll see that, well, I can't do anything with that. Control Z to undo that. So again, I'm going to move beach scene sun above beach fun text. Right-click, Create Clipping Mask. And now we've created a clipping mask using text. So again, we have clipping mask where we've used a shape, we've used a brushstroke, and we've also used type or text. Next thing we're going to talk about is adjustment layers. So the adjustment layers is located at the bottom of your layers panel. It's the half-filled circle. If I click on the drop-down arrow there, you'll see that I get some options, and within those options I can select. So whether it's solid color, gradient pattern, bright contrast levels, curves, exposures, vibrance, etc. I can also get to this same menu item if I click on Layer, New Adjustment Layer. And there's those same items there. So regardless of which way you get there, as long as you get there is all that matters. So again, this is an adjustment layer. I'm going to click on Hue Saturation. You'll see that now my properties panel is open, and if I make those adjustments, it affects everything. You'll notice also that I get a layer that's added with a thumbnail, and there's the hue and saturation. So if at any point in time this goes away and I want to make adjustments, I can come back here, double click on that little thumbnail. Now I can make those adjustments. Now, problem with this is that it's affecting everything below. Right? So for example, if I take the beach dog and place it above the hue and saturation, and now make adjustments, notice that the dog doesn't change because he's above the adjustment layer. Okay, so if I want to apply this layer effect to just one element, for example, the colorful beach house, then what I'll do is I'll create a clipping mask for the adjustment layer. So I'm going to right click again, just like we did before, and create clipping mask. And now you'll see, when I double click on that thumbnail, as I make adjustments, it's only affecting the colorful beach house.